Hello! So the new 2024 Player's Handbook has finally been released. And word on the street is monks are amazing. Congratulations, monks. Barbarians are supposed to be great. Congratulations to you, barbarians. Paladins are apparently shit. Wizards are mostly the same. And rogue also is apparently dog water. Well, it's about time that I stepped into the arena and made the best possible 2024 Player's Handbook build of all time, using only the Player's Handbook 2024 literature. That's right, folks, here we are, we're gonna do it. Now, over here at D&D and Dumb, we like to do a little thing called mid-maxing. And mid-maxing is something like using features that are oftentimes considered terrible, or at least are overlooked, and using them in builds, mainly most multi-class builds, finding ways to utilize those features such that they are not terrible. Now, that's going to be hard to achieve, but it will be achieved right before your very eyes. So strap in, folks, get ready, and wait, actually, let's rewind a little bit. When I said I'm going to make the best possible build that's possible to make, does that mean I've read the Player's Handbook from cover to cover? No. Does that mean I've considered and watched all the other YouTubers' builds to make sure that this build isn't irrelevant or redundant or underpowered? No. Am I confident, regardless, that this is the best possible build imaginable? Mostly. So, with that said, I've heard that Rogue is bad. Rogue is not bad, don't let anybody tell you that. But anyway, where were we? Let's just get right into it. Level 1. For level 1, we open our brand new Player's Handbook from the 2024 Wizards of the Coast printing, and we flip to the character creation to find that race has been changed to species. Your species is going to be Goliath. Now, Goliath is an interesting species. You're big, you're a Goliath, we get it. You have a 35 speed that's not going to be relevant to this build, but it's good to know. For your ancestry, we're picking Fire Giant. Fire Giant allows you to add a D10 to an attack roll a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain the expended uses when you finish a long rest. This feature is going to come in handy, but you need to be stingy about it. You're going to have one of these starting off from level 1, 3 of them, 3 to I think 8, and then at level 8 you get, I forget how it works, whatever. Point is, you're not going to have many of them. No, it's at level 3 you get 2, at level 5 you get 3, and something like that. Here's the point, you're only going to use this feature on critical hits. That will double the damage of this dice, so it'll be 2d10 actually, and later you'll see why that's important. For now, just know that you're going Goliath, but not any Goliath. This isn't some critical role Gronk bullshit. You're going an intelligence-based Goliath. Your stats are going to be allocated in the following way: 14 strength, 10 dexterity, 15 con, 15 intelligence, 8 and 8 wisdom and charisma. You're dumping a lot of shit here. And I understand that you're looking at this thinking, wait, how are we strength-based and intelligence-based? What type of terrible Eldritch Knight are you about to create? Just be patient. It will all become clear. Now that we have our stats and our species, your background. Another thing that they've added where you get an origin feat. You're still allowed to customize your background, and that's what we're going to do because all of the ones here don't actually give us what we need. What we need is a mid feature. We need Savage Attacker. Savage Attacker is going to let us roll the weapon's damage twice and use either roll. At first glance, this is terrible. At second glance, it's all right. So we're going to use it, and we're going to make great use of it later on. But for now, just take it and, get on with your life. What else do we need to do? Class. Spoiler alert, it's Fighter. You're taking Fighter at level 1. This is going to do a few things for us. First of all, it's going to give us heavy armor. So strap on that chainmail. It's also going to give us a fighting style. For your fighting style, you're going to take archery. Archery is going to be super important because for a long time in this build, our primary attack stat is not going to reach 18 nor 20. Eventually it will, but you're going to be lagging behind the party. And so you need to take archery so that we're hitting things. We're also going to be getting advantage, so we'll be fine. We're going to hit things at a high clip, but you know, at first we need some help. So take archery, and you get the, what's it called? The armor. Oh, and you also get an important thing, a weapon mastery of any kind. Now, you can take 2 of the things, you get 3 weapon masteries at level 1, 2 of them don't matter, 1 of them very much matters. For one of these weapon masteries, we are going to take the musket, okay? And I know what you're thinking. The musket? Yes, the musket. The musket has been put into the 2024 PHB. In the previous editions, it was only in the Dungeon Master's Guide, or it was in like the extended rules or Xanathar's. I'm not really sure. No, I'm pretty sure it was in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Point is, it wasn't in the player's handbook. It wasn't an official weapon that you could take as part of the like player build thing, blah, 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 blah. The only problem with the musket is that it's 500 gold. And considering that we don't have that at level 1, you're gonna have to do some finessing. So either you are rolling very well in your like gold like rolls or whatever in your thing, like, you know, you get some money from your background, from your class, and you have an option to roll it. So either you roll through the roof, or you pull some money and you go out and buy it, or you have a friendly conversation with your DM, or you sell Goliath feet picks. I don't know. Make it happen. It's not impossible. You can get the musket. If you really can't get the musket, take the heavy crossbow or take the pistol. Heavy crossbow is probably better, but do something and get that musket if you can. The other thing you might be thinking is a musket. In my low fantasy Dungeons and Dragons game, I am not going to touch a firearm. And to that I say, listen, my friend, it's time to grow up, pick up the stick, and get in the streets. Because you are going to be hitting 360 no-scopes like you're ready to join FaZe Clan. You are going to be out killing goblins and putting it on the internet like a 14-year-old Fortnite Zoomer, okay? You are going to be hitting emotes on owlbears. And you're going to like it. So pick up that blick, get out there, and make this build. And in order to make this build, the best possible build in the 2024 Player's Handbook, we need to have a musket at range, firing at all, you know, cylinders. You get what I'm saying. And if you're not fired up, I don't know what to tell you. Musket also has the slow property. It's not that great, but it's not terrible. All right, so that's level 1. Level 1, we have a musket, we're at range, we have chainmail armor on, and we're doing our thing. All right, now that we're strapped up, we're going to level 2. For level 2, we're going rogue, leaving the fighter behind just for now and going rogue. This gives us a few things: expertise, put it anywhere, weapon mastery, doesn't matter, sneak attack very much matters. At level 2, it's only 1d6, and this is only triggering for you if you can get advantage or if an enemy is engaged with a friendly combatant. So at level 1 through 3, you know, I don't know how you're gonna trigger this. It depends. But as soon as you hit level 4, things are gonna start to come into focus. At level 4, we get our rogue subclass. Our rogue subclass is going to be Arcane Trickster. Arcane Trickster is not a great subclass, but it allows you to take spells. And there's one spell that has become a must-have for all rogues no matter what. And I'm pretty sure this has been widely accepted by the 2024 D&D community. That spell is True Strike. True Strike allows you to make one weapon attack using your spellcasting modifier, and you get to change the attack damage to radiant if you need to. You also get to add a d6 to the damage at level 5, and again a 2d6 at 11, 3d6 at 17. This is huge. It should be obvious why. You can change the damage, you can use a different modifier, not really that that's helpful, but we're gonna make that work. And you get to add d6s. So the D6 that we lost for multiclassing, we're gonna get back through True Strike. Now that we're level 4, True Striked out of our mind, this is basically what the damage looks like, and it's not that impressive right now. It's 1d12 plus 2d6 plus 3. Our attack modifier is plus 3 because we have 16 in intelligence. That's what we're attacking with. But we have advantage to hit because we have steady aim. And steady aim allows us to sacrifice our bonus action and our movement to gain advantage. That means sneak attack is reliably triggered. It means that we have reliable advantage, which means we're hitting, and it means we are rolling damage dice. And because we're rolling damage dice, that means we're taking advantage of Savage Attacker. And because we have a D12, Savage Attacker is doubly helpful because we don't want to be rolling 1s and 2s with a D12. It's really going to deflate our damage. Savage Attacker is going to keep our damage level. Later it will become more useful, but for now, that's what we're working with. Not terrible. Let's jump now to level 6. Well, at level 5, let's just do it slow. Okay, everybody calm down. Let's do level 5. Level 5, we're going back to Fighter. And in level 5 of Fighter, we're gonna get Action Surge. Don't really pay much attention to Action Surge. I mean, pay attention to it. It's an amazing feature, but we're not going to be like, it's not a mainstay of this build. It will add damage, obviously, and add action economy, but it's not like, you know, a primary feature of the build. But at level 5, we get another D6 from our True Strike, so our damage turns to 1d12 plus 2d6 plus another d6 plus that 3. Okay. Now, level 6. At level 6, we're taking our Fighter subclass with another level of Fighter. That means we're 3 levels of Rogue, 3 levels of Fighter, and for our Fighter subclass, we are taking the Champion subclass. Champion Fighter is another seemingly mid subclass, but not really. You get improved critical strike, you get advantage on initiative rolls, and you get to move, like, the remarkable athlete thing is not that great except for the initiative rolls, but the improved critical strike is what we're focused on. Critical strikes now can happen on a 19 or a 20. And because we are getting advantage reliably with every attack, we're rolling 2d20s, meaning our chance to crit on a 19 or 20 is near 20%. That means every 5 rounds, we are critically hitting our enemies. And we'll take a look at what that means damage-wise in just a second, because what I mentioned about critical hits as in regards to our species is important to remember now. As we proceed to level 7, we will take our first feat. Now, many of you might be thinking, hey, look, our ASI, sir, our stat allocation is terrible. We have 14 strength and 17 intellect with 15 or 16 comm, whatever it is. I don't know the numbers, they're not in front of me. But the point is, we're not doing that. We're taking the Piercer feat. Piercer feat, our third mid feature of the day. Piercer feat is not mid. It is decent. The Piercer feat allows us to add a third damage dice to our crits. This is very important, considering that we're critically hitting targets at 20% of the time every 5 rounds. I mean, come on, this is amazing. It also lets us to re-roll damage of one of our attack rolls, once a hit. And that means in conjunction with our Savage Attacker origin feat, we're effectively re-rolling 3 damage dice. Now, you don't have to re-roll the Piercer one, but you can. So that means you can pretty much roll a 9, 10, a 10, 11, or 12 on a D12 like 70% of the time, 75% of the time. This is pretty damn good. And the key here, again, is the critical hit damage dice. For the strength or dexterity +1, you're throwing that into strength. Your strength is now 15, and you can put on plate armor. Again, we're level 7, so by now you should have some gold. You should have muskets out the wazoo, and you should be able to buy plate armor. And let's start to look at our damage. Now, our damage just to hit is going to be 1d12 plus 2d6 plus 1d6 plus 3. That is not incredible, but it's about average in terms of when you compare to the base rogue or like the base warlock. Now those would be underpowered in comparison to probably the monk, but once we add our critical hit damage to help level things out, our average damage goes through the roof. 20% of the time, again, we're critical hitting, and on a critical hit, we get 3d12 plus 2d10 plus 4d6 plus 2d6 plus 3 for an average of over 50 damage and a maximum of 95, okay? At level fucking 7. This is very good damage. Amazing damage. Actually, the best possible damage according to my minimal research. Best possible damage, thanks to a number of things that we've already gone over. The Piercer feat. Oh, the 2d10 that's here, let me explain that, right. It's fire damage from our Goliath species, which we've been hoarding. And by hoarding, I'm just saying like the fire giant proc we've been hoarding. You need to play this build such that you're only expending that 1d10 when you crit. And in this case, you have, at this level, you have 3 charges of your fire giant 1d10, all of which again are going on critical hits, and you get to regain them all in a long rest. Having 3 of them every long rest is perfect for our critical hit numbers because we're critical hitting every 5 turns. And an average encounter is gonna last maybe 4 to 6 turns, 7 on a bigger fight. That means you might have 3 encounters in a day before you long rest. I'm just saying speculatively, most games probably go 3 encounters at most before having a long rest. I bet many have 2 or even 1. And this means having 3 of these is enough to keep you proccing your 2d10s onto your crits consistently and maxing out that damage. So, what can I say? This is the best build. You're hitting 360 no scopes. You're playing Modern Warfare with goblins. You are out there running amok on your table, and you're doing it all from range. And in 18 AC, because you got plate armor, and you're a rogue, and you're doing rogue shit, okay? Now, you don't have any movement, so if you want to get a mount, that's probably a good idea, but you are murdering everything in sight. You're a single target demon. Just to skip ahead a little bit, we can jump to level 11, and at level 11, you get another ASI. All of those levels you're going to be taking into Rogue now from here on out. You only need 3 levels of Fighter just to get that champion, and the armor and the musket. And at level 11, instead of taking that much needed ASI, we're going to take a feat that we will underutilize. We're going to take Warcaster. Now, you could probably take Sharpshooter. There's probably a number of feats here you could take, or you could take the ASI. It's really up to you. Warcaster is going to allow us to maybe get a opportunity attack that will probably be a disadvantage sometimes, but it'll also give us +1 to our saves. To our intellect, which will bring our intellect up to 18 and add to our to hit and damage. And it will also give us advantage on maintaining concentration. And as an arcane trickster, we now have 2nd level spells, and we can take Magic Weapon. Magic Weapon is another mid spell, but if we use this spell, we can add that extra +1 that we miss out from not having maxed out intellect, bringing our bonus to hit and to damage to a +5. Or the bonus to hit is much larger because we also have archery and you're adding your proficiency bonus. But in terms of damage, you can max it out to +5 on your magic musket, and you can maintain concentration on magic weapon reliably. That means at level 11, with a 20% chance to crit, again, that's every 5 rounds or so, you're hitting with a musket that looks like a goddamn sniper rifle with 3d12 plus 2d10 plus 8d6 plus 4d6 because your true strike has upped, and the 8d6 is because your sneak attack has upped because we're level 11, and the +5 from magic weapon and your intellect being at 18. That's an average of more than 70 damage and a max of around 133 damage possible. Okay? And you're doing that all at with radiant damage if you want. There's some fire damage baked in there. I don't know really how it's gonna affect sneak attack damage. I forget how that really works. Like, is sneak attack the weapon damage? Is it its own thing? I don't fucking know. But the point is, look at these numbers. They speak for themselves. This is the definitive best mid-max build possible in the 2024 Player's Handbook rules. And I guess that's all I got. I mean, I'll be back with another even shittier build, but for now, play this. Pull up to your table with the stick and let it hit. Take out the blicky and let it go. Just hit owlbears in the dome from range. Now, you only have 40 feet of range, so that's another thing to remember. But, you know, do what you gotta do. And have a blast. If you enjoyed this video, then good for you. And thanks for being here. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I love you. Bye.